Woo! Lots of applause today. That didn't call for a laugh track, but okay. That was called for, yes. Good evening, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome to another Around the Pound on a Sunday night. I am your host this week, Marcus Shadow, and joining me are James Phoenix.
Hello, and really don't be discriminatory for those across the pond. It's Monday morning.
This is true. And speaking of across the pond, we have not joining us on video today because he is more tired than normal and doesn't want to yawn every 5 minutes on video, so that's understandable. We have Chris, aka the Mole.
Insert my bow.
Yeah.
And then to round it out, our other New Yorker, we have Pew Pew as a special guest. Yes, before we get into this week's Around the Pound, I would just like to mention that starting next week, and for the entirety of the month of October, and what the hell is that for?
I don't know. Maybe it's I didn't press it. I assume it's because Jim's disappeared.
Fair enough, but yes, as I was saying, beginning next week and for the entirety of the month of October, Around the Pound will first off just be the three of us, myself, James Phoenix, and Chris, aka the Mole, and we will be doing our yearly awards show, much like our other production XGR over there did a few months ago. And so we'll be doing ours, and it, like I said, it will be all-inclusive for 1 month, and a wide variety of things. We've tried to go a little bit outside the box with that one, so be on the lookout for that. It should be fun. And, and that one will kick off with Mr. James Phoenix hosting the first one, so yay.
Indeed.
Also,
I would also ask, is it just going to be me, you, and Jim because you realised our caliber of guest has clearly sunk this week? So it's like, yeah, let's just get rid of the whole guest thing.
Or it could be because we couldn't be bothered telling all our guests to create a list just in case they happen to be a guest that week.
Yeah,
that
you might
could
be a guest. Create a list.
Yeah, the fuck just happened?
We appear to have lost Jim.
But we're still live. How are we live without the host? The channel's not here.
He's not the host. Didn't you see the big not host thing?
We're still here.
No, but he's the X-Pound channel, which it's being hosted on. I'm so confused.
But the call didn't end.
I know. That's what's confusing me.
Just go with it.
I don't even know if we're still live.
The live thing is still on.
It is.
Live right there.
We are still live.
Okay, well, I guess I'll go based on the assumption that we're still live, and I will kick things off here. My first bit of news, as of September 25th, 3 days ago, my time, the FAA has allowed movies being shot in America to use unmanned drones. There are a number of restrictions, however, and those restrictions are: drones can only be used on closed sets, cannot fly above 400 feet, must be within sight lines, cannot fly at night, so nixo on the night shooting, and any planned use of drones must be reported to the FAA prior to use so the FAA can monitor air traffic accordingly, which makes sense. Non-American films such as Harry Potter
Welcome back,
and
Jim.
James Bond, welcome back, Jim, and I assume James Bond was shot in, or has been shot in England. I don't know if Mole can confirm that or not.
I think he's been shot a lot of times in England. Every villain's tried to shoot him there.
But yeah, in the article they used.
No sense.
Yeah, because I was the article that I read specifically mentioned Bond and Potter as of having used camera-mounted drones to get unique shots from above. So that's why I just assumed, okay, well, Bond's probably not shot in America then, because that would have been illegal.
Mm-hmm.
But it's not anymore.
Don't use drones. Drones are bad.
But yeah, with now the ability for American filmmakers to use drones for like cameras and stuff, a lot of interesting shots in like Hollywood-made, American-made movies should be more interesting. Like you'll be able to get shots like, well, like what Peter Jackson used in Lord of the Rings with the fell beast, where it was like just hanging in the air. You can now do that like on set as opposed to having to do it in a digital apparatus. So that should be pretty cool.
I thought they used like cranes and shit to get those crazy shots.
No, they just put cameras inside a computer because it's a digital environment, and they just inside a digital environment.
Yeah, which that is cool that they're allowing people to do that. My first thought is I hope they allow 3D cameras in that environment so you get the sheer depth down.
That'd be
That'll
awesome.
make the shots a lot more great. I also feel this technology, they should have allowed people to do this a few years back before they accurately mastered the technology of doing this in CG and making it look realistic like Avengers.
Yeah, my guess is, as far as the 3D camera thing is concerned, that's probably up to the filmmaker, because it's probably up to them as to what camera they strap to the drone.
It is, but I just mean if it's in 3D, if the
Yeah.
film's meant to be shot in 3D, that'll be an awesome ass shot. Like imagine Avatar 2 with those shots.
Hell yeah.
Wait, Avatar 2, as in like the blue people?
Blue
Fuck
people.
that. I don't want that to get a sequel.
They've already slated 3.
No, this later.
Really?
They're on a third they're on a third movie now?
No, but if they're gonna do another 2 or 3 sequels because while the film was basically Pocahontas in space, the sheer amount of stuff they did, I can appreciate, of like reviving 3D, the new techniques they used for filming that is interesting enough to warrant a new film. There are loads of films that get by just on their special effects. This is one of them, only unlike say a Michael Bay film, this actually has at least a little bit more depth to it. And
I was
James
gonna say
Cameron is
cough,
fucking awesome.
Transformers cough. Yes, he is.
Yeah,
Yeah.
James Cameron is awesome.
I think it also combined its record-breaking box office returns.
That could only exist if there actually is a Pocahontas in space now. Because I kind of want to see that. Like, actual, like, Disney Pocahontas in space.
Wow.
I can recommend a musical that's like The Little Mermaid in space.
No, but, like, the way he said Pocahontas in space, I want to see that now. Pocahontas in space.
Wow. No thanks. But anyway, let's kick over across the pond to Chris, aka the Mole, for his first bit of news.
Okay, my first bit of news is it's been over a year since the last Star Wars The Clone Wars ended its run on Cartoon Network, but the showrunner, and I hope I'm saying this right, Dave Filoni, I'm just going to call him Dave, I can say that bit, hasn't left the fans hanging between the Lost missions on Netflix, Darth Maul. This Darth Maul special of the Clone Wars has basically surprisingly lasted power post-Constellation. Now, Lucasfilm has released even more Clone Wars content, this time offering an entire 4-part episode arc, unfinished, but it's the story real form. And as they put it, this is great that's what's great about StarWars.com. The Star Wars fans are basically more of an inbuilt audience that's willing to overlook the unfinishedness of it as long as it means getting to the heart of a true story.
This is true. And very
Fair
cool.
enough.
I look forward to seeing what comes of that.
Yep.
Yep.
Probably not much because they're available on StarWars.com to view now, but they're just trying to basically finish off the Clone Wars so it at least has some sort of ending.
Even though it's no longer in continuity.
It is.
It is? I thought they got rid of that.
They got rid of all the good EU. They kept the TV show though.
Yeah, the 6 movies and the Clone Wars TV show is what's in canon.
Fair enough.
Technically 7 movies, because the Clone Wars did have a movie.
Ah, fair enough.
But yeah, no more Ewok movies. But boo, no fortune.
Does that mean the Christmas? Does that mean the Christmas special's not canon?
That's never been canon.
Fair enough.
Does that mean it's in canon now? Since, they don't care about what Lucas wants?
Yeah, that's never been in canon. That's why a load of stuff within that is just crazy and just having fun with it. Although Earth Day is actually canon.
But it's the origin of Boba Fett.
It's the origin of Boba Fett in terms of we saw him in an animated film, as I pointed out to you in the past, but that's not his origin.
Fair enough.
Anyway, let's kick over to James Phoenix for the next bit of news.
Sure, why not? So, in multiple ways here, Apple proceeded to shoot themselves in the foot multiple times this week. Because, item number one, as you've probably seen in the news by now, it was discovered that the new Apple iPhone 6s are rather bendy.
iPhone 6 Plus.
6 Plus. Thank you.
It's really called 6 Plus.
There's two different ones. There's the 6 and there's a 6 Plus. The 6 Plus has a bigger screen.
Which can now break into even more pieces than the 6.
It's creating an even bigger screen.
Yeah, it's because the 6 Plus is slightly larger, therefore it has more surface area, and that creates more of the bending.
Yeah, people have found that when they put it in their pockets and they're moving around, they sit down, get up, whatever, that the phones are somewhat bending. So I don't know how Apple's going to address that.
Apple addressed it by saying they were calling it, and they've said there's only 9 reported cases of this in the entire world,
Fair
which
enough.
some people have argued is bullshit, because it's also worth pointing out there is videos and audio and cases up for people to read of people who had them, phoned Apple about it bending, and Apple being like, our phones don't bend, and then hung up.
Mhm.
It's going so bad.
Thus, they weren't counting them as reported.
Well, at the same time, it's interesting to hear that over on ConsumerReports.org, Consumer Reports actually did their testing on the phones and found that iPhone 6 and 6 Plus were not as bendy as believed. The result shows that all the phones they tested were pretty tough. The iPhone 6 Plus was the more robust of the new iPhone, started to deform at 90 pounds of force, came apart with 110 pounds of force. Slightly outperformed the HTC One, which is largely regarded as a sturdy, solid phone, as well as the smaller iPhone 6, yet underperformed with some others. So there you go. So far, it's showing here that the most resilient phone to bending is the Samsung Galaxy Note 3, with the
Nice.
iPhone 5 coming in second.
My HTC is really not bendy.
Fair enough. Anyway.
No, you know what phone really isn't bendy?
What?
Marcus Shadow's cell phone, which he still uses his original one that comes in a Money in the Bank briefcase.
Little Nokia thing.
I was making an old joke, and I love the fact Marcus got that.
Nice. But anyway, so that's happening, and then to top that all off, for these new iPhones, there were some issues going on with these phones in which they were having some apps would not connect to each other properly. The Apple Health app to monitor your heart rate and your steps was not connecting to third-party apps properly. There's some little issues there. So they released a patch for the iOS, the Apple operating system, upgrading from iOS 8.0 to iOS 8.0.1. Everybody downloaded it and installed it, only to find that there was one. It did fix the problem. There was one slight issue with it. It stopped everybody from being able to make phone calls.
No one uses it for phones.
And it also fucked up the people's fingerprint scanners that they were using for their fucking credit card app. So yeah, Apple pulled that update shortly after releasing it. After everybody started reporting that it was screwing their phones up. They're supposedly going to look into it and re-release it after they figure out why it did that and fix it. And the recommendation going around, unofficially from Apple, but from everybody who's having the problem, is that if you are stuck with this issue with this upgrade and your phone isn't working, you should log into your iTunes app and use the iTunes backgrade feature to backgrade yourself to 8.0.
Yeah, and I would say, how are you supposed to do that if the fingerprint scanner doesn't work? How do you access your phone? Because what if you're one of those people who uses the fingerprint to access your phone? You're basically locked out of your phone.
The fingerprint is only to access your credit card information on the phone and approve credit card transactions, not to physically access your phone.
Actually,
I thought you.
Actually, there is a security feature within the iPhones to do it with fingerprinting if you wanted to, because that was one of the things people were concerned about, was people just stealing the phones. So they brought in the security message of, if you had it in there, you could put the finger on there, it scans, and it'll unlock the phone.
So basically, those people are hosed.
But yeah, basically people who are worried that people will steal your phone, you put a fingerprint on there, and hey, guess what? You stole my new phone. That's great. You don't have my finger. Haha.
Yeah,
Oh,
but
chop off your finger.
basically the people who used that and got the update are pretty much hosed because now they can't access their phone. Period.
Yep. Possibly.
Yeah, it sucks.
Assuming it doesn't just affect the fingerprint in the regard of what Jim said, not just
That particular
all the
app,
fingerprints.
That's a possibility.
Maybe. But yeah, so that's this week in Apple fuck-ups. Back to you.
Fail. So, before I continue on, Stacy,
You're
you
doing
got
it wrong.
anything you want to report?
Nope.
I
Okay,
really
just
wish
thought I'd ask.
Really wish I could have inserted a GIF into this conversation. Just 'cause during that, I really want to insert "You're doing it wrong."
Yes!
Freaking-
That one was
Apple, you're doing
Spider-Man.
it wrong.
Spider-Man carrying the guy into the burning building. You're doing it wrong.
Yeah, that was a great GIF. All right. So this one, and I thought this was kind of cool, and I don't know how to say the name of this company, but Intugene Technologies has introduced Nimble, a new gesture system that can control your wireless devices with a single fingertip. It's a device. I think it's plastic. It fits over one of your fingertips. You can put it like on your thumb or whatever. And it requires a USB receiver that comes with it. It currently has a 15-foot range, and the device easily reconnects to the receiver should something interrupt the stream. It's also got a convenient environment mapping system to eliminate outside disturbances that could limit usability. So in other words, instead of it looking for a straight line, it actually takes into account the environment between you and the receiver, so that, like, say your stack of books doesn't fuck up your ability to use the device.
Or your penis if you're masturbating online.
That too. It's got low lag, sub-millimeter accuracy for those first-person shooters. And the software can read multiple devices at the same time for convenient multiplayer. Then you can read up to, I think they said 8 devices or some ridiculously high number. Nimble is currently supported by Windows, but will be supported by iOS, Android, and Linux upon release. Intugene is also looking into compatibility with VR devices like the Oculus Rift, which sounds kind of awesome, because then that means while you're looking through the VR stuff, you can actually realistically interact with the stuff that you see, because it's just a little thing on your finger. That's kind of cool. Lastly, there's a smaller version of Nimble called the Nimble Touch, which is a ring device that fits around your finger. So they have a ring version of it for if you just want to wear it all over the place. Because in the demo they showed not only video game type applications, like I said, people using it for first-person shooters, which people who have actually used the device are saying that is the most accurate way to play a first-person shooter now, is to use the Nimble.
Are you telling me that I can play a first-person shooter just by going pew, 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 pew?
Yeah, pretty much. Basically what it does is you can map any gesture you can possibly make with your finger or thumb or whatever you have it hooked up to any button or control. So I could basically make this gesture the fire button. I could make this reload, or this fire or something, So you can map stuff the way you want it. But the other more practical use for this is when they say wireless devices, they mean all wireless devices. You could use it to turn your TV on and off. You could use it to you could use it to interface with your satellite box and control your guide on your satellite and stuff, the volume and channels and stuff. It's kind of amazing. And then, by the way, this was also done as an independent. It was on Kickstarter, Indiegogo. This was an Indiegogo funded project, and now that all the research and stuff is done, they're now looking for funding to actually be able to manufacture and distribute the product on Indiegogo. So you can go to Indiegogo and you can type in Nimble or search for Intugene, Inugine Technologies. And it seems like it's a company run by 3 Indian guys. So, yay. Indian people always come up with the best technology stuff these days. I don't know why, but they all seem to be Indian people.
I think I want to say it's pronounced Intugene, because I think it's an intuitive engine. Intugene.
Yeah.
Okay, fair enough. That makes sense. Intugene, fair enough.
I will say that sounds awesome for everything except for gaming.
It It sounds like a thing you have to remove. Like if you go to the hospital, they have to remove your intuition, or they have to perform an intuition to remove the tumor in you, or like I don't know. It sounds like some kind of medical term.
It does. It does.
Seems like it could be awesome for games.
I don't know, because they've tried gesture control stuff for games before, and most research still says the most accurate is something like, I don't know, the what do you call it, the Move or the Wiimote.
Mm-hmm.
Because then you got more of a grip and buttons, but for controlling multiple devices, that sounds awesome to the point. I want to get multiple TV screens, multiple devices, and I want to wear as many rings as the Mandarin.
But yeah, I saw because on the article they had embedded. I assumed there was their like Indiegogo video, but it showed people, like I said, using it with like first-person shooters, and they were actually aiming it like this, and it seemed pretty accurate. But imagine, Jim.
Like this.
Imagine, Jim, if you've got one of these things, and you're like a couple of them on your hands, playing STO and mapping this to firing your phaser.
There you go.
Nice. And
or
I agree.
the Picard maneuver for engaging your impulse drive. Make it so.
Nice. And I will say, I do agree it could be good for games. I was just saying, I think the Move would still be better, because I think it's the Move and navigation is the one that the military actually uses for some of their training stuff, because that, with the gun attachment, makes it feel like a real gun when you're moving it, so it moves like a real gun. So I'm like, that's cool as fuck. Although I still have to wonder, I have to say, you're doing it wrong. You're supposed to use the Move for games, not war.
Yeah. And also, for those who are wondering what the device looks like, it's basically, it looks like what the new heart rate things in like doctors' offices and hospitals look like. The ones that attach to your fingers, they clip onto your finger and it takes your pulse that way. It looks like one of those on your finger. So it's pretty small. It looks pretty lightweight. So,
Nice.
I look forward to seeing where they go. I look forward to seeing them hopefully get the funding they need to go into full production mode and release this thing, because I'd love to give that a shot. It looks amazing.
Nice.
Basically, if you want to see what this looks like, go watch the Star Trek Next Generation episode Kohlrami.
Yes, it looks like those, exactly, except without the cords, yes.
Actually, I'm sorry. The episode was Peak Performance. Kohlrami's the dude. Sorry.
Oh, yeah.
And I will just say, which not many people will agree with, but I will say this: the technology sounds cool. I really hope it doesn't become the norm.
Mhm.
Just because
Also,
imagine in the future when you're older, when you're like an old man, and you got this device on your finger, and suddenly that's when your hand starts to do the lock-up thing. Old people do. No, I can't use my TV.
Also, another cool thing I saw someone do with it, they had one on each finger, on each hand. And you know the thing that Tony does in Iron Man where he's interfacing with his computer like this?
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, if someone was doing that with this like 3D geometric thing, shape type thing they had on their computer, and they were like doing that, like stretching it out and doing this and crap, and I was like, that's actually kind of cool. I like that.
That's kind of cool. And then you have to think, because you're meant to be able to do the gestures yourself. One on each hand, Oculus Rift. Yeah, someone's going to make a porn game.
Games. There are already fleshlight controllers. These are already out. These are not new things.
When are you going to do an unboxing on?
Why don't you do that? Those are probably fucking expensive because people make their own shit, and you have to get one customized to your dick size.
Fair enough.
And that's not the information that I want from you. No offense.
Yeah, my dick's too large to use as a controller. It'd be like having to hold five Wii U game pads together. No, I couldn't do it.
Oh God, well, you just gave me a really bad idea.
Oh God, no.
Oculus Rift porn game that requires you to take a nimble and stick it on the tip of your dick.
I was gonna say, you put the ring on the end of his dick and then he fires shit with his shit and it can respond to the game. It's
wow. Your TV can now be controlled by your dick.
Well, you have to ring was big enough or small enough, depending on, size.
What does Jim think about the practical implication of this type of software or hardware? I don't mean in a porn way.
Oh, it'll be hard.
Ah!
I see what you did there.
Wow.
Ah.
But don't worry, Jeff. The mini version will come so you can also play the penis game.
Fuck you. But yes, moving on to England.
God save the Queen. No. Okay, my next bit of news, which is only small but fucking awesome, and it goes into something I discussed previously on an XGR. Remember that time when... Okay, no, that doesn't work. All of the deleted scenes starring Anna Paquin in X-Men Days of Future Past will be added in a very special edition of the film that's coming next year. The edition is called The Rogue Edition. The extended version of Days of Future Past is targeted to release in the first half of 2015 and will feature 10 minutes of additional footage, including the deleted scenes of Paquin and other characters. This was confirmed by Variety, who cites the film's producer and writer, Simon Kinberg, as the one who announced the extended edition today, of the announcement at least, at Studio 22 on 20th Century Fox lot. So that's the Rogue Edition. First half of 2015.
So they're making a special edition of a special edition. That's wonderful.
No.
Super special edition. Oh my god.
No. This is the special edition. They're doing the normal film, and the extended edition that we all knew is coming out, but it's called the Rogue Edition because of what it adds.
Oh, okay. Fair enough. I thought it was the Rogue Edition of the extended edition. I was going to be like, wait.
Yeah.
This would be the Ultimate Edition, according to how we named it.
Fair enough. So yes,
So
I'll be
first
buying the
part-
Rogue Edition.
And I was saying, Marcus, why are you complaining? You're going to buy it anyway. You bought a goddamn briefcase with a Tesseract in it. You're going to buy this.
Damn right I did.
What a briefcase!
He's gonna buy this,
Yeah, but-
and then his first thing he's gonna do is come on around the pound and start complaining that he placed it next to other DVDs and it didn't absorb their special features.
Exactly. But yes, Anastasia. Marcus Shadow bought the Marvel Cinematic Universe Phase 1 set that came with Thor, Hulk, Iron Man 1 and 2, Captain America, and Avengers.
See, I would do that, but I already own like half those movies, so it would just be a waste.
Yeah,
So
which
did he. He doesn't give a shit.
Yeah, but to be fair, it's a great set. And it came with the collectible Tesseract, and it was in a briefcase. That was a great collection.
And Jim,
I wanna
the
say
movies
Cosmic
I
Cube,
own,
not
they're all
Tesseract.
on DVD. The collection is Blu-ray. So yeah, there was a reason for me to get it.
Yeah,
I already
I don't know.
own all the Blu-rays.
and like I said, can we please also refer to it as Cosmic Cube?
Cosmic Cube.
God
Now the
damn
Asgardian Cube. Alien Asgardian Cube. Because it's in Alien Asgard. At least for now.
Yep.
Anyway, on to Jim.
Yay! So, there you go. So, as I made a Star Trek reference before, that's rather appropriate to lead into this. Now, this is in fact a thing. I am not kidding you. It's obviously in very preliminary phases, but it works. It's a thing. Ladies and gentlemen, I am very proud to announce that the good people in the science labs over at the University of Rochester have invented cloaking.
Cloaking is just
Really?
really good stuff.
That's right. They use the cloaking device that uses ordinary lenses to hide objects across a range of angles. Basically, there's a YouTube video I can stick in the description that'll you can watch and it'll show you exactly how it works. But long story very short, in order to both cloak an object and leave the background undisturbed, they determined that the lens type and power needed, as well as the precise distance to separate four lenses. And they tested the object and put a cloaked object in front of a grid background, and they looked through the lenses. The way the lenses changed the viewing angle, the thing was not there. They tried it with a hand, a foot, a few various props, and the thing disappeared. So it can be scaled up as large as the size of the lenses, allowing fairly large objects to be cloaked. And unlike some other devices, it's broadband, so it works for the whole visible spectrum of light rather than only specific frequencies. So it improves on other cloaking devices, but is not perfect. It bends light and sends it to the center of the device, so the on-axis region can't be blocked or cloaked. That means the cloak region is shaped like a donut, and they might have slightly more complicated designs to solve the problem. It also has some edge effects, but they can be reduced when large enough lenses are used.
And
So does that mean that technology is effectively a true cloak, so that like radar and shit can't detect it because it bends the light, and then it bends frequencies like that? So it would literally, the radar would bounce off it, and it just wouldn't detect it.
Theoretically, yes, if the radar is used like sonar, will probably detect it, but radar, no.
sonar probably wouldn't detect it. Radar might, because it would depend on how it works. Because radar itself is giving off extra bits of light, and that's trying to hide the light using an existing type of light. The multiple types of like infrareds and shit integrating could cause.
Mm-hmm.
Wait, isn't the sonar just bouncing off of shit though? So
Yeah,
the sonar doesn't use the light.
yeah. But
Sonar
I
wouldn't
will-
detect it unless it was moving.
Yep, but I will also say with the other thing when you mentioned about the various props they tried, we're taking to remember they tried various props and you listed them. The last one was a foot. Is anyone else imagining someone just going, and now for something entirely different, and just stomping down on whatever prop was left?
Ah. No, they tried a bunch of different things just to see if they could cloak, and it does work. And obviously, it's very preliminary, but theoretically, this could at some point be applied to larger things, especially if we find a way to make more flexible, large enough lenses that one could apply. Like for example, if you got to the point of Star Trek, obviously such technology would be that the force fields of the ship are reflecting in the same way the lenses would. So if we get to that point, then there we go.
You know what they said? You said they want more flexible stuff. They should try the new iPhone 6 Plus. Those are really flexible.
Oh! Yeah,
Could we use this technology to cloak disabled people so Kanye West doesn't feel embarrassed anymore?
Theoretically. Marcus, if you're oohing, we can't hear you. You're muted.
I know, I didn't make any noise.
You went?
I know, I didn't make any noise. I just did
Okay.
that.
Fair enough. Well, yes, that is the last piece of my news. So back to you guys. I don't have much this week.
That's fair
Fair
enough, and that sounded good, and hopefully it goes places. I've seen similar experiments with like using light to manipulate what's there and stuff, and it always seems good. And I'm like, why haven't you used this yet?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, exactly.
Because the government wants
No.
us to use it to like sneak in our houses and check our voicemails. And, I don't know.
There you go.
Mm-hmm.
Now they hack the computers and shit.
But we must be careful. This technology could be used for evil. Because, yeah, cloak snipers, anybody?
True, but I would also like to use this technology to do something I don't know. Let's remove Jersey from the map. So yay, no more Snooki.
Just make the entire like state of Jersey like disappear, but just make it so they don't know there's
This might actually be too much technology to do that because it might be too many mirrors and lights and stuff. So let's just use a nuke. Gets the job as good.
saying that they would disappear, so everyone outside of New Jersey can't see them. But if you're inside New Jersey, you don't even know that you're invisible.
So it becomes the Truman Show?
No, we're not gonna watch them. We're just gonna pretend they don't exist. That way, like these people in New Jersey can like go about their business, and then they'll get bored and feel everyone's ignoring them, and just go about their business.
We already
Someone
watched
comes
it.
under
Sure.
the dome?
Ah, welcome to Corinth. But yes, my final bit of news. And with this bit of news, I wish I could throw up a clip of The Miz going, really, really, really. And you'll understand when I start this off, Panamanian dictator Manuel Noriega. Yeah, bet you never thought you'd hear that name in this in this day and age, huh? But yes, former Panamanian dictator Manuel Noriega, who, by the way, is still in prison,
I know what this is.
wants to sue Activision for portraying him in Call of Duty Black Ops 2 without his consent.
Legally, he has a right. That's defamation
No,
of
he
character.
doesn't, because as was pointed out by someone who, and I watched a little podcast, they talked about this, someone who was a journalism major, said, technically speaking, because Manuel Noriega is a public persona, it's covered under fair use.
Ah.
You can basically portray any public person that you want under fair use. So, like, Obama can't sue anybody for using his likeness and portraying him because public servant.
Yeah, that didn't stop, I believe it was Lindsay Lohan from suing the Grand Theft Auto 5 people.
She's not a public servant. She's not a politician or anyone.
But she is a public figure.
She's famous. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, he meant public servant, and also it was her lawsuit was just for her to get attention.
True.
Yeah. You can't get a lawsuit every time you decide to flash your, like, junk at everybody and whatever.
Yeah.
People can't do that. You don't get taken seriously.
And I
So
will
basically,
say,
yeah.
I will say, yeah, I loved this news when that broke, because I took that for XGR last week. It was hilarious. Please tell me you got the quote I loved.
What's that? Oh, the quote from fucking Rudy Giuliani?
No, I'm on about the other one from Activision of...
I didn't
What's
get that one.
astonishing is that Manuel Noriega, a notorious dictator who is in prison for the heinous crimes he committed, is upset about being portrayed as a criminal, an enemy of the state in the game Call of Duty. Quite simply, it's absurd. They went on to say, I'm not interested in giving handouts to a convicted murderer, a drug smuggler like Manuel Noriega, who is demanding money from Activision, its possible Call of Duty, for simply expressing its right to free speech. His attack on the right to Call of Duty comes as no surprise, though, considering he's a lawless tyrant who trampled all over the rights of his own people.
That was
like-
Rudy Giuliani who said that.
It says here Activision's president said that.
Oh, that's interesting because according to the podcast I was watching, they said it was Rudy Giuliani who said that shortly after the news broke.
Actually,
What?
yeah, that might have been it. That might have been their quote. But yeah, when I saw that, I was like, I love that quote.
Yeah.
Yeah, I took that for XGR. We found that fucking hilarious.
Yeah, I saw that. I was like, okay, I have to take this. This is just sheer what the fuckery.
Yep.
Yeah, this is just, why? What the fuck are you thinking? Like, literally in wrestling terms, he's trying to pull a CM Punk from jail. It's like, even CM Punk wouldn't try to pull a CM Punk from jail.
Yep.
Well, of course not. He's not. He's not fighting legal trouble with actual police. I think he's fighting legal trouble with the authority. He'd have to pull it from inside a locked closet.
This is true. But yeah, I was just like, really, Manuel? Really? You're going to try to become relevant again by trying to sue from jail? And the only person who wins out of this is going to be his lawyers, because they will still make money regardless of what happens.
No, the person who wins from this will be Activision, because, yeah, this is great publicity for them, telling a dictator to
That
go
too.
fuck yourself. We want to give people Call of Duty.
That's true, too.
Yep.
Did we lose Stacy? Did she fall asleep?
A little bit.
Well, wake up, because we're getting to the part where you get to speak. But anyway, to the mole for his final bit of news, because I think you have one more, do you not?
I do. And it was Alex Winter has spoken about the upcoming Bill and Ted 3, including a few details of non-linear plotline. There are many versions of ourselves in this movie, Winter says in an interview with Yahoo Movies. It's answering the question, what happened to these guys? They're supposed to have done all this stuff. They weren't the brightest bulbs on the tree. What happened 20 years later? To answer that question in a comedic way felt really rich with possibility. And it goes on to basically say, Bill and Ted 3, the plan right now is multiple timelines to see multiple versions of Bill and Ted and stuff like that. So, yeah, I think that's pretty good. Damn awesome.
Crisis of Infinite Bill and Ted's?
Yep.
I'm on board with that.
It works, because logically, by changing time with a time machine, they would have split the timelines if you go by Back to the Future logic. So, yeah, there would be multiple versions of them.
Are they bringing back the original actors for that? Is Keanu Reeves
Yes.
involved in this? Okay, am I the only one who now wants to see a timeline where they walk out as fucking like Neo and Morpheus? But they got the actor, right?
See, I will say, and this may just be me, I actually don't want any Matrix or Speed or anything like that references, because I might be wrong, but this is the first comedy that Keanu Reeves has done since he's become a more serious actor. So to see him go back and just embrace Ted in all its Tedness, I would just be like, yay!
True.
I just really want to see him back in the role. I don't know why. I'm hoping he can still pull it off. As long as Ted in the new future isn't exactly like Neo, I'd be like, yay! He's Ted again.
Woo!
Who was Joan of Arc? Noah's wife. I love that answer. Who's Joan of Arc? Noah's wife.
So that should do it for our news because Jim doesn't have any more news, right?
Actually, as Mo pointed out to me, there was one more bit of news. I didn't realize he gave it to me. I thought he was taking it. That was my mistake.
No, I
Fair
gave
enough.
it to either you or Marcus to take, whichever one.
Okay,
Go ahead,
Marcus
Jim.
didn't take it, so I'll mention it real quick. For those who was unaware, the lawsuit between Marvel and the heirs of the estate of Jack Kirby has been settled. For those who don't know, the estate of Jack Kirby and his heirs were suing Marvel over his lack of recognition for creating some of Marvel's most popular characters, including Captain America, the Fantastic Four, Hulk, Iron Man, Thor, and the X-Men. Much of his work was done alongside Stan Lee, but Kirby's contributions were work for hire as opposed to Stan Lee, who was a full-time Marvel employee. And so Kirby was denied much of the monetary compensation that came with the success of the characters. They were just a couple of days away from taking this case to the Supreme Court, but they released a joint statement saying they settled the legal disputes outside of court, though we don't know any details in regards to that.
I think it's been like an ongoing thing between like Marvel and Jack Kirby.
Yes.
Yeah, there has been an ongoing thing, and I will say, to their credit, they settled out of court, and they took it in stride, unlike the people who, basically the heirs of the people who created Superman, have been constantly trying to sue DC to try and get Superman over and over and over again, and it got embarrassing.
Fair enough. So before we continue, Stacy, what's up with your lighting?
What? Oh.
What's up with your lighting? It's completely washing you out. Like it's
Oh, you mean
Like-
because it's now foggy?
yeah, it's like all it's all like bright and shit. Ooh, hello.
There you go.
It's still bright, but fair enough. I mean, we can see you. It just looks like you're being filtered through light and fog.
She has a shitty camera.
Fair enough.
It's fine. We can see her.
Yeah, I just thought I'd ask in case it was something
Yeah.
she could fix.
I can
Fair enough.
turn off the idea
Like,
dark.
turn off your fog machine.
That's fine. So, there you go. So let's
Kill it with
let's move
fire.
on.
And
let's
that's
move
how
on to
you knock it out of James Phoenix.
There you go. And James has to fix something. Okay, so let's move on to our catch up, and we're gonna kick things off. We're gonna kick things off with Stacy, but
Yay.
just to throw it out there, she, myself, and Mole have all been furiously playing Hyrule Warriors because we just got it this weekend, and it is glorious. And I will allow Stacy to fill you in on Hyrule Warriors and how glorious it is.
Never
And
heard of it.
after that, you can listen to Marcus Shadow repeatedly bitch about the weapon thing they took out.
No, that's going to be in the review.
For the review. Anyway, yeah, but I have to say that not all of us got it during the weekend. Mo got it during the midweek, which I hate you. And
He got it yesterday.
No, I got it. I got
Crispy,
it. I got it Saturday, but Crispy got it like last week, and I played it with him on last weekend and stuff.
Okay, so that's
That is true. Anyway, go ahead, Stace. Oh,
all right.
she's disrobing people.
Yeah, still driving me crazy.
Hmm.
So anyway,
Without your glasses on, you really kind of look like the Roswell alien.
fuck you. Look at that
That was
giant
meant as a massive compliment. I don't know why, but that was a compliment.
You have a giant forehead. Anyway.
Go ahead, put your hair in front of your face. That proves you're not emo.
Anyway, So Hyrule Warriors, fucking awesome. I've been playing it. I love like all the new weapons and fusing stuff, and it's just been grinding. It's fun and up, and basically we're gonna do a formal review of it. So I'm not gonna tell you much about it, but tons of characters, fun. Buy it, buy it, buy it. So yeah, keeping the secret until then. The review.
Cool. And have you done anything else this week that you want to talk about?
I got this book, Kingdom Come, so I'm gonna be reading it this week.
Read it.
Alright, I'm gonna read it while everybody's reading their smutty romance novels. I'll have something intelligent to read. Or so I've heard.
That's it? You haven't done anything else this week aside from work?
I painted my Frankenstein.
Yeah, she built the Frankenstein.
Okay then.
Painted it's a decoration for the work office.
Ah, fair enough.
And she made tacos.
Yeah, and I didn't make tacos, I bought them.
Okay. I should have known anything requiring work you would avoid.
I did make hamburger helper, and it turned out well, even though I bought the wrong type of meat.
And I will say
What's
one
that?
thing. Everyone be quiet for 1 second. Pew Pew, show it again, because last time when you showed it, everyone else speaking, right when it went to cut to it, made the video jump to them, so I don't know if it will for the recording too.
I think you can see it there, right?
Yep.
And it's got the arms and legs still in progress, and you know, he's gonna be about like 6 feet tall when I'm done with him. His actual legs are still in the back of my car because I haven't painted those yet.
So you're Rita Repulsa?
What? Oh, making monsters? Yeah, technically.
No.
Technically you knew, but that was the role of Finster.
I thought Rita specifically was the one that made the Frankenstein monster.
I just meant when Stacey mentioned the making of monsters.
No, I saw as someone who certainly remembers because episode 26, Life's a Masquerade is the first episode I ever saw. No, he came out of the Monster Maker.
Yeah, but I thought she was the one that used the Monster Maker, because I thought that's why they called it that one specifically, like Rita's Frankenstein or something. I thought they named it after her.
And I will just say, while the discussion of the Power Rangers Frankenstein goes on, I will just say the best Frankenstein of all time is from the book Frankenstein.
Agreed.
Or the black and white film Frankenstein.
Yes, the film is awesome.
Mm-hmm. Also, I will say, obviously, Stacey she's obviously not, just building monsters like Repulsa. If you saw the Frankenstein, she's clearly a player in Minecraft.
Hey, boxes are readily available things that all my coworkers throw out. Therefore, it gives me a canvas to paint on. And because literally the box is the arms are from my coworker Susan. The hands and neck are coffee boxes that everybody throw out. Little coffee sugar packages. And the torso is just where my space heater came from at Amazon. So, literally all these Amazon and work boxes.
Which it'll look cool when it's finished. Now, I will just say, your Frankenstein's face, I don't know why, it really reminds me of Hulk.
Yeah.
It's probably because it's got the unibrow and I gave it purple eyes, I guess. Or...
Yeah, I don't know why.
Smash.
With all the wrinkles and stuff and the way they work, it looks more Hulk. But that's awesome. You made a Hulk.
He's gonna have
big fake Hulk.
Yeah.
Pretty much.
Nice.
But I will also apologise to the other two when I cut them off, because I think I may have cut them off and I asked everyone to shush for a second. It was just, like I said, when everyone spoke at once and it cut through, I wasn't sure if it was going to do that on the video. Of, oh, here's my Frankenstein. Do want to instantly cut off?
Right, that makes sense.
Fair
And
enough.
that probably would do that. So.
Yeah.
But alright, so let's see. What else did I do this week aside from Hyrule Warriors? Which is awesome! If you're a Legend of Zelda fan, go buy it.
Let me check the celebrity obituaries.
Nah. If you're a Legend of Zelda fan, buy it. If you're a Dynasty Warriors fan, buy it. It's an awesome game. We will speak more of this on the review. Also, this week I played a few times PlayStation All-Stars Battle Royale. with Jim and with the mole over there.
Oh, you
Indeed.
guys have been playing without me? You should have told me you were playing. I would have played with you guys.
Well, I'll tell you what.
I
I,
haven't been
That's
awake.
why we were playing, because you weren't around.
yeah. Well, no, I'll tell you what. If I don't know if Mo's going to bed right after this recording, but I'm not going anywhere, so we can play right after this recording.
Go to work at 9 a.m. or like 8:30. I'm going to
Well,
bed.
that's why we don't
Yeah.
play with you, because it's not on late enough. Not our fault.
Exactly.
You know what?
But
I have
yes.
a fucking job.
So do we. But yes, for those who
Yes,
aren't
I-
aware, for PlayStation Plus members, PlayStation All Stars Battle Royale was free for the month of September. So you have what, like a day? No, well, 2-3 days if you still want to get it if you're PlayStation Plus. So that's why we all have it. We've been playing it. It is a fun game. Not as good as Smash Brothers, but it is a fun game.
Indeed.
It's worth pointing out you might actually have a week left for it. We don't know yet because they haven't announced the Plus games yet, and they normally announce those the week before. So as a result, I think October's maybe slightly, you know what I mean,
Pushed
like, pushed back because they'll announce the games next week. Because it'd be pointless to announce it on the day they come out of just, oh yeah, by the way, these are the Plus games for this month.
Fair enough.
But I'm not entirely sure. Don't 100% quote me on that one.
Fair enough.
So aside from that, just the usual stuff: work, TV, Food Network, HGTV, DIY Network. That's the only really new stuff I've done is Hyrule Warriors and PlayStation All Stars Battle Royale.
Fair enough.
So let's kick over to the mole.
Okay, am I muted?
No.
Okay,
you're-
I wasn't sure if I was unmuted then for a second, but yeah. I will just say, because I know most people here weren't watching it, I'll just kick off with the big thing. The Ryder Cup was this week. Boom. And it's worth pointing out, day one, US was off to an impressive lead right in the opening. And yes, I did take notes for this. But they were off for an impressive win right at the very beginning, basically. But by the end of it, it became 5-3 to Europe. And yeah, the end result of the Ryder Cup is 16.5 to Europe, 11.5 to America.
So, are you talking about for people who don't know the sports relating to the
The
cup?
Ryder Cup is golf.
Okay, because I was gonna say, it's what do you guys like, soccer or no?
It's
okay,
golf.
then golf. Okay, because I don't know which. Only
Yeah,
knows
this is-
Philly Cup is hockey.
No,
It's also-
that sounds pretty close, actually. So it sounded like it was a pretty good competition there.
It was pretty good, and this is the first time it's been in Scotland for 40-something years. I can't remember how many years they said, 40-something years, but since the tournament was there, which is around 30-something years. But this is the first. It's basically America's not won a Ryder Cup since 1993. Hi, Americans.
Wow.
But I just wanted to mention that because it's pretty exciting because all year round when you get the golf tournaments like the Masters and stuff, it's pretty fun to watch, but it's just that little bit more magical in my opinion, or that little bit more special for the Ryder Cup. So let us know if you watch the Ryder Cup, because the Ryder Cup's special because the Masters, it's like, okay, I want this guy to win, I want that guy to win, I want this guy to win. Whereas when it comes to the Ryder Cup, basically it's Team America versus Team Europe, and it's basically more like cheering your favorite team or cheering your country, like yeah, or continent in this case, of yay, come on Europe, yay, and stuff like that, which is awesome. Plus, I will say the European side did have my favorite golfer on there, Rory McIlroy, but yay, props to him. But yeah, like I said, Ryder Cup was pretty awesome this year.
If we're rooting for my country, I'm saying go Team Italy.
That would be Europe.
Nope.
See, I didn't know if you knew this, Pew Pew, but Italy is part of Europe.
I know Italy's part of Europe, but I don't know if Europe, because Europe's a bunch of countries. So I don't know if it was like Italy versus France versus
yeah.
England versus Scotland
is,
versus
Well,
Iceland.
look, it is, but like I said, it's Team USA versus Team Europe. Because the size of your USA and the size of Europe, it's like, okay, we might as well Team Europe versus Team USA. It's pretty good. It's a pretty good contest. And obviously then I played Hyrule Warriors. I'm going to put Hyrule Warriors down as a rent it. make up your own opinion, because not everyone will like the Dynasty Warriors gameplay, and there is some other problems. I personally think it's fun, but I would definitely say at least rent it. The next thing I saw this week was I watched Maleficent. Woo. That film, it looks pretty good. It's a great film. I will admit the story's kind of weak, but it's not so weak that it's a horrible film, because it's a very Disney story in terms of how weak it is. It's like the basic Disney story. If this was animated, it would get a lot more free pass, if that makes sense. And I'm like, it feels like a Disney story, so that was pretty cool. I played more Disney Infinity, which was cool, and I've been catching up on Power Rangers, which, yay. Awesome fucking episodes. Not going to give spoilers, but Super Mega Force. Awesome. Over to Jim.
Thank you. Okay, well, as previously mentioned, I bought PlayStation Plus, and I have downloaded and have been playing PlayStation All-Stars Battle Royale. Awesome game. Thus far, I'm liking Jack, and I'm liking Spike. I'm going to try Nathan Drake and Kratos next. I mean, I know Kratos from the demo.
Try the Toto, or like the cat thing.
Yeah.
That's my favorite.
Fair enough, I'll give him a shot, too.
Sweet Tooth.
Sweet Tooth. Yeah, I'm going to give him all a shot. There's a lot of different fun characters in the game to play as, and it's just a really fun game. It's like Smash Brothers, except, well, not as good, but also it's, they got the levels that are kind of crossing into each other, which is kind of unique. The environmental hazards and things, the weapons are a little different, so it's still pretty unique and it's pretty fun.
Yep. Well, I will also mention with Smash Bros. There is one thing that just irks me with it.
What's that?
The choices of characters. I understand some of them being chosen, and a lot of them make sense, but look at like Smash Bros. They do Sonic, or they do Mega Man, or they do Pac-Man, or Snake, and they make them look like their original counterparts. Whereas this one was like, DMC's just come out, let's make it Dante instead of actual Dante that people would want. Oh, Metal Gear Revengeance is out, let's not get Snake, let's get Raiden. Because I want to play as Raiden, said no one ever.
Yep. It is a sad, sorry state of affairs.
I wanted Lara Croft in there.
That would have been good too.
Punch her in the face.
Or for Jim, Spyro.
Or Crash Bandicoot.
Crash Bandicoot.
Indeed. But he got cheap-ass Jack, so he's happy.
No, he's not as cheap as Radek.
To be fair, Jack's not cheap.
Or Dante with his fucking sword.
Yeah, like I said, Jack's not cheap.
Or Kratos with his fucking everything.
Yeah, Kratos is God-modded, yeah.
Yep, Kratos is ridiculously OP.
So, moving on to the weekly report.
To the book! Doo-doo-doo.
Yeah, I haven't gotten that much farther in it, unfortunately, because I've been playing PlayStation All-Stars Battle Royale and shit all week. But, yeah, they're getting prepped for what's probably going to be a fight on the cruise ship, and having to split their forces. The Kingdom Keepers have recruited some of the cast members, as they're known, about a half dozen of them, to ally and rally to their cause to help them out. And Wade helps, of course. So they're trying to guard the engineering base from the Overtakers, while at the same time they're going to have to split off, and some of them go on the cruise to go and make sure the Overtakers don't try to screw around with the cruise. So we'll see how that goes.
Have you got to the part yet where she chooses between the vampire or the werewolf?
Also, you might remember I mentioned last week, it got a little real, where there was a scene where one of the Kingdom Keepers was asleep and in his hologram form in Disney World, and a couple of the evil students who were under the evil queen's spell tried to pour some booze and pills down his throat to keep him asleep permanently, or at least for an extended period of time, so he was trapped in sleep immunity syndrome. Well, this week we had one of the same students who was like the leader of the evil students, who's like the bully guy, and another one go to attack one of the other Kingdom Keepers at his shop where he lives with his aunt. They run a pottery shop, and they attacked him with tasers and they tased his aunt.
They tased his aunt?
They tased his aunt with a taser.
Now,
Oh, I thought you said aunt, like, hello, dearie, I'm her aunt, you know?
Yes,
So
exactly.
when you say tased his aunt, do you mean his mother's sister, or do you mean his little tiny aunt in
All
the
right.
farm?
No. His guardian, one of his parents' sisters.
Oh, I thought it was like a Bug's Life cameo. Damn it!
No, that would have been awesome, but no. That would have been good, but no.
If you tried to tase an actual ant, wouldn't that make it explode and not knock it out?
It'd be awesome
Theoretically.
either way.
Yeah.
True.
But anyway, yeah, so that happened. So shit's starting to get real, and the Kingdom Keepers are all starting to get tired of being attacked and not even being safe in the real world. And they're going to Wayne, and Wayne is like, no, we can't escalate this. He's basically pulling a Zordon. He's like, we cannot escalate a battle. You know, he's basically saying, well, we gotta focus on the goal at hand. We gotta go on the offensive against the Overtakers, but we gotta be careful because we still have to guard the base and not let up on that. This is what they want, is they want to distract you with this so that you let up on the real goal. So we gotta make sure we're focused here. And then Finn had to convince his parents to let him go on the cruise thing because they had the keepers. Those keepers that are going have to be there in person. Otherwise, being there just as the holograms wouldn't necessarily work. So they got to actually get on the cruise in person. So that's kind of interesting. So again, I'll keep it up. I'll let you know where we get on that.
Those poor unfortunate souls.
Yep. That's Ursula.
Yep.
Okay.
Anything else, librarian? The fuck is that? Oh, Forever Evil. Fair enough.
Yes. One of the newly released graphic novels from the DC New 52 line, Forever Evil, is a compilation of, it's pretty thick for a graphic novel. I mean, that's a lot of pages. It is awesome. As you can see here, that is the cadre of villains right there, led by Lex Luthor. And basic premise is, what happens when the Justice League is gone and the villains are the ones who have to save the day? How would that play out? And it's kind of badass and
Why
awesome.
would they want to? Wouldn't they just fuck shit up?
Not if the threat that took out the Justice League is also a threat to them and the world.
So what? The Justice League failed, and now they're dead, and
Basically, let me ask. Mo will immediately understand this. I don't know, you don't know much about comics, but have you ever heard of the Crime Syndicate of America?
Yep.
I know you have. I'm asking her and Jeff.
I haven't
Marcus.
heard those things about comics because I'm just trying to get into it.
Well, considering I was here the other night when you explained it, yes, I have.
Yeah, that's true. You were here. Here, let me show you. This right here, these guys, look at my photo. I can get a reflection. These guys right here are the Crime Syndicate of America right there. They are from the Earth 3 universe, and they're basically the evil doppelgangers of the Justice League. The main three in the front there, as you can see, is Ultraman, Superwoman, and Owlman. And they're the evil
like the guy who, like Owlman, the guy Al who broker who does the weather.
No, Owl, as in the Nightbird.
Oh, you mean that guy who fucked Silver Spectre too?
Did he? Okay, fair enough.
You mean in Watchmen? That's what I was saying because he was called the Owl.
Not that. Yeah, same premise, but not that Owlman. This is basically Batman who was inspired by an owl instead of a bat.
Who would have believed that?
Aha! I see what you did there. But yeah, basic premise here is that through a means that are explained at the end, the Crime Syndicate appear in our world, and they basically kill the Justice League, or so you think. Spoilers. But basically they take over, and the world is kind of doomed. And so basically, Ultra is ruling this, and if you don't know, they're the exact opposite of the Justice League. For example, here, as you can see, Ultraman over here. He must consume kryptonite in order to retain his strength, but he is incredibly weak to sunlight, so on and so forth.
So does that mean you have to make sure Owlman doesn't have time to procrastinate?
You would think that, but ironically, it seems like Owlman is effectively Thomas Wayne, the supposed brother of Bruce Wayne that didn't exist in our universe, and he's Owlman. But he apparently is just as prepared and just as much of a badass in that universe, except that he's kind of a dick.
I'm aware. I just really want to make that joke about.
Although there is a nice there is a nice parallel here. There's a point where Nightwing gets captured by the Crime Syndicate, and basically Owlman starts talking to him, and basically Owlman, unlike Batman, whom we know won't forgive or go, back to anybody, even though he's fucked a lot of people over in his life, Owlman, apparently he thoroughly regrets what he did to his version of Dick Grayson and wants to rekindle their partnership and be friends again, which he tries to do. Apparently his Dick Grayson died, so he's trying to be friends with this Dick Grayson and make him his new partner.
And does Dick Grayson turn around to him and be like, "No, you killed Batman. Fuck off."
Something to that effect. And Dick Grayson is mostly tied up and gagged. He can't really say fuck all, but yeah. But yeah, there's a pretty bad. I will say this is interesting. I've never seen this. You've seen
what you're saying is Owlman loves Dick?
Yes, that's exactly what I'm saying.
So it's just like Batman.
Oh. Anyway, I've never seen this before. You've seen a 2-page spread of comic before, right?
Yeah, like they go on.
So here's some of the members looking out at some of the villains that are gathered. But have you ever seen a 4-page spread?
No.
Yes.
Look at
Yes,
that.
It's called the poster.
Yes, it's called The Death of Superman. The entire comic was a fucking multi-arc spread.
That too. But yeah, Stacey, since you're a little uninitiated into comics, you'll notice the person leading these villains to save the world is Lex Luthor. And rule number 1 in villainy in DC, one does not fuck with Lex Luthor. One follows him when Lex Luthor says, "You will follow me or I will fuck your shit up."
Pretty much.
In not Ultimate Alliance. Fuck, was it DC Universe? The game.
DCUO.
DCO. There you go. Yeah, because he went back in time and said, "Hey, fucking shit, Brainiac."
Yeah, he was the
blah."
one dude that survived the Brainiac invasion and went back in time to stop it because Luthor is the badass like that. But yes, in this version, basically, the crime syndicate kind of take over. Ultraman shoves the moon in front of the sun and kind of sticks it there so that he won't be weak. And then
Wouldn't you freeze to that then?
apparently not. But yeah, he does that, and so the syndicate takes over the world, and they unite all the villains and say, "Villains, join us in our syndicate, work for us, and we'll take over the world, and we'll be cool with you, and we won't kill you, and it'll all be good, because you want this anyway, so let's be friends here, let's do this." But interestingly, some of the villains who are not necessarily the most evil villains are not totally comfortable with this. Specifically, we see... Well, like Luthor. Well, Luthor is on his own from the start. And Luthor actually has a great character arc in this, but some of the villains, namely the Flash's villains, interestingly, Captain Cold, Weather Wizard, they have a problem with this.
Villain like Zoom or Zoo or something like that.
I mean, Flash's archenemy is Professor Zoom, who interestingly does not appear in this.
I knew it was something like that.
Yeah, but anyway, so effectively they take over, and it's up to the various factions, basically the villains, to try to save the day. And there's an interesting parallel here where it opens up, and we see Luthor's helicopter gets blown out of the sky in an explosion. And some of the other members of the syndicate, by the way, we got this guy over here. This guy's name is Grid. As you can see, he's cyborg without the human half.
So he's just bored.
He's a sentient computer virus, and that is, for the record, that is actually Cyborg of our universe's body, whom Grid, the sentient computer virus, invaded and physically ripped himself out of Victor Stone and rebuilt the rest of him.
Okay, I'm going to pretend I understood what you said and say...
Oh, so what you're saying is you're supporting a comic in which the black guy can't keep his body? Racist.
In all fairness, he gets rushed over to Star Labs, and his father gives him a new half, mechanical body, so it's cool. But, yeah, so shit kind of gets fucked.
All of it for me. I'd like to actually read the comic at some point.
I'm just saying it's a pretty badass, and yeah, basically Lex Luthor has to set out to save the world, and try to unite some of the villains on his side. There's some different, so a lot of badass fighting in this. We see the origins of some characters in here, because remember this is New 52, so there's some characters that hadn't been introduced yet that are now. And we wrap it up with a pretty badass finale, and we see who the Crime Syndicate's archenemy is and what happens there. So, pretty badass. Read this. I like it. It's awesome.
Well, when you return it, I'll read it.
Fair enough. It's badass and awesome. If you're a fan of the DC Universe, give us a shot. all the DC villains appear in here except the Joker, although he's referenced.
The Jokers are enough shit.
Yeah, pretty much. There's a reference where they're all in the gang like this, where Penguin goes, "Joker's here somewhere. I know it. He's hiding in someone else's face."
Because Joker doesn't give a shit. That's why he's not there.
Or that's probably because if Penguin's mentioning Joker's hiding in someone else's face, it could be set during the events of the time in which Joker's running around with someone else's face on.
Yeah, and that's exactly why he's referencing it. Yeah, it's during that point in time. But it's interesting because they mentioned that they were interested that all this organization of villains is not drawing the Joker out because this is organization and Joker hates that and he likes anarchy. But yeah, so anyway, yeah, it's really awesome. If you like these, there's a lot of references to DC things, a lot of interesting looks at DC characters that you might have known before, but that are kind of rebooted because New 52. So you get to see some origins there, cool stuff. And just check it out. It's really a fun tryst with the villains and seeing how badass and awesome the villains, and especially Lex Luthor, can be. So give that a shot, and that is my news.
Well, that's something else you may have seen this week. Like, I don't know, something that may have aired tonight.
Oh, right. Thank you. Well, two things. Number one, actually, it's actually three. Let's start at the beginning of the week. Starting on Tuesday, we had the season premiere of Person of Interest. Great episode where we saw the gang who were kind of forced into fake identities because the evil machine is now watching everything and is going to Samaritan, the bad guy's machine, is now watching everything and they're in incognito. But the good machine is still out there and helping them. And over the course of one episode, they go from being stuck in these fake identities and being watched at every turn. And there are hints so the machine can identify that, oh, these are the guys that are trying to stop me. But they still can't go out of line or they're going to get noticed and picked off and killed. So they go from basically being completely fucked and from Finch not even wanting to be part of the group anymore to being united again. Reese being transferred over to the precinct where their police... Reese is posing as a cop. Being transferred to the precinct where their friend Detective Lionel Fusco is becoming his new partner. To getting a new secret base in the underground abandoned subway tunnels. To getting a covert communications network that the machine can't tap into via nodes that are attached to the old ATV antennas that are on top of all the buildings in New York City and forming a wireless network that the machine can't tap into, and basically be completely back in business. It was badass.
So what you're saying is Kingdom Keepers, a comic book about superheroes, Person of Interest. Are you capable of watching a show in which someone only has one identity?
Nah.
In all fairness, everybody sitting here has multiple identities.
To be fair, I don't. Boom.
Well, you don't walk around introducing yourself in person saying, "Hi, I'm Chris the Mole."
No, I introduced myself as Chris, and Mole is my real-life nickname.
Fair enough. Moving along. But
This
then...
is the guy who renamed himself James Phoenix.
Haha. But then, I didn't get to watch it that night it aired, but a couple nights later, I got to see the season premiere of Marvel's Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D., which was also badass. As we left off last season, Agent Phil Coulson is now Director Phil Coulson of S.H.I.E.L.D., put in charge by Nick Fury himself, after S.H.I.E.L.D. fell apart and collapsed because Hydra infiltrated their asses. So, Coulson, now the Director, is trying to rebuild S.H.I.E.L.D. from the inside out with what few agents he has, including Agent Lucy Lawless.
That's the Asian chick, right?
That's Xena.
Yeah, no, Xena Warrior Princess, she makes a cameo. The Asian chick is Ming-Na Wen.
Wow, you can't get more Asian than that.
Pretty much.
She's the voice actor. Meet Marcus.
I was like, he could be Martin Shadow's mom or something.
Yeah. She's so Asian, she's the voice of Mulan.
Really?
I'm not even joking about that. She's the voice of Mulan in the Mulan movies.
Then that means that she's Vietnamese. Because isn't like all Mulan made by Vietnamese people?
No, Mulan saves China. Mulan is Chinese. It's a Chinese story.
Yeah, but I heard that they couldn't get actual Chinese people because it pissed them off, so they got a bunch of Vietnamese people to represent them.
Maybe she is. I don't know. Marcus Shadow, do you know what of what race Ming-Na Wen is?
No idea.
Fair enough.
I thought she was Chinese, but I could be wrong.
Well, fair enough. We'll find that out later.
I'm holding a load of briefcases with different Asian races on it. Come on, deal or no deal?
Well, thank you, Wikipedia. She is a Macau-born actress.
Okay.
So, Macau is a special administrative region of the People's Republic of China.
There
So
you go.
it's one of those parts of China that's not actually part of China. It's the other one is Hong Kong.
Whatever.
Hong Kong actually is part of China now, but yeah, anyway.
It would be sort of like being born in the Virgin Islands. You're technically an American, but you weren't born in America proper. Anyway,
Yeah, it's like being born an American. You're technically a human, but you don't count.
Well,
Switch.
okay, for the benefit of those on most side of the pod, it's like being born in Wales. You're Welsh. You're technically in the United Kingdom, but you're not really a person. Anyway, so like I was saying, basically, yeah, she's in the show, but no, Lucy Lawless guest stars as a character who, spoiler, gets killed at the end of the episode. But it's a pretty badass opening, showing them trying to. What's that?
I said I think you have to give a tiny bit of a gap before spoiler. You know, I think you have to like give a second for me to pause, cause man, like if I was watching this, I'd be pissed if I didn't know that. Spoiler, give you a second to pause, then go.
Anyway, so basically, the episode is we see Coulson trying to rebuild S.H.I.E.L.D. With the few agents that he has. They're trying to interrogate Ward, who turned out to be, he was Hydra on their team the whole time, so they're interrogating him for information, trying to find out more about what Hydra's plans are, and exactly, how trying to get back all of the fugitives and the stuff that got stolen from their facilities when they got raided by Hydra. So it's a lot of action scenes, a lot of badass stuff going on, good character development. A lot of interesting character development for the character of Fitz. Unfortunately, he suffered brain damage from being half drowned in the last episode, so he's not as there as he was. And we see these kind of hallucinating Simmons as they're with him, which is kind of interesting. So we'll see where that plays out. But overall, great season opener, badass episode. Check that out. And don't forget and also just a reminder, we also got an awesome opening, a little awesome opening related to the episode at hand. I won't go into any more detail on this, but we had an opening in which we got to see Agent Carter's team, including Dum Dum Dugan and the original proto-S.H.I.E.L.D. members from back in the World War II era. So they made a little cameo at the beginning, setting up for, of course, the premiere of Marvel's Agent Carter, which will be the mid-season replacement for Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D. coming out of ABC.
Backdoor pilot? Shows never do that.
I know. Anyway, so that was awesome. And then the third thing, that just a few hours ago, we had the premiere of the first ever official Family Guy Simpsons crossover entitled The Simpsons Guy, which was officially an episode of Family Guy, specifically. They made the episode. It was pretty good. Spoiler alert. Oh, she left. Okay, she must not have seen this yet. Fair enough. So, it was a really good episode.
Or internet issues.
One or the other. But it was a really great episode. I did feel like they did a good job balancing references between the two. I can't make it fair. And there was... They were trying to take the piss out of themselves a lot. Probably a little too much. The episode opens with the Griffins are sitting in the living room watching TV. And they're watching the All in the Family, Modern Family crossover on their TV. Which is kind of interesting. And then... at that point, Chris intentionally goes into this long-winded speech about how crossovers are never desperate and never stupid and always entertaining and always good. Which was kind of, yeah, that's a little too in for you guys. So, following that, we saw a lot of great interactions between the characters, Homer and Peter, Meg and Lisa, Bart and Stewie. Brian and Chris are hanging out with Santa's Little Helper a little bit. We see Marge and Lois a little bit. And we see a lot of interesting, fun character comparisons. A lot of in-jokes about both shows. There's the joke that all Pawtucket Patriot beer is really guff. There's jokes about all kinds of stuff. Just references to this and that. There's Peter trying to get Homer to do a cutaway gag. They throw a joke about the fact that they're carrying Bob's Burgers, and the Cleveland show failed and they got canceled. Just all kinds of in-jokes from both shows trying to reference things. The biggest shot they took, and one of the best things I will say they did, is at the end, in one of the endings before the giant fight between Homer and Peter, which does happen. There's a courtroom scene where after Paul Chuck Patriot is revealed to be Duff in disguise, on behalf of Duff, the stereotypical Simpsons lawyer guy, the skinny dude, you know who I'm talking about. He's everybody's lawyer. He basically files a lawsuit on behalf of Duff against Pawtucket Brewery and against Peter as representative of Pawtucket Patriot Ale for basically ripping off their beer. And there's a joke where they, as the lawyer is speaking, talking about this is what they did to our beer. They completely ripped off our image, our likeness, and he goes this long-winded speech about how everything is ripped off and it's identical, blah, blah, blah. And at the time they're doing this, they're cutting over the courtroom where you're seeing like every single Simpsons character and their Family Guy rip-off counterpart sitting next to each other.
There we go.
I was like, oh, there's Principal Skinner and the principal from Chris's School and Family Guy. And oh, there's all these different comparisons of this. Oh, there's the sea captain and there's Seamus from Family Guy and the sea captain from Simpsons. And oh, here's there's Dr. Nick and Dr. Hartman. They're all going back and forth about their various jokes there.
But Dr. Nick's dead.
He is? He wasn't in this.
He died he was the character that died at the end of the movie.
Apparently he's alive again because he was performing a surgery where Brian was chasing Santa's little helper and Santa's little helper ran into the operating room and Dr. Nick goes, "Good, Dr. So-and-so, I thought you were never going to show up." So.
Well, that's stupid as fuck.
Yeah, anyway. So they show they compare all the different characters of all the different, that match characters, they show like Consuela and Bumblebee Man, all kinds of comparisons of characters, and the best shot they did, and this was amazing, is they show all the different characters, and the last one they show in the back row from Family Guy and The Simpsons, it's James Woods and James Woods from both shows, and they're talking to each other, and James Woods is like, "You just live here?" "Yeah, I worked at the Quickie Mart for a while. I was researching for a role." And they're both voiced by actual James Woods. It's like, I see what you did there. I like that joke a lot. But yeah, it's overall a great episode. If you're a fan of either show, give it a watch. I think it's worthwhile. You might get sick of some of the the jokes about how one is a ripoff of the other and blah blah blah. But I think it works. It's pretty funny. There's a lot of good stuff in there. There's some. And it's just great. It's fun to see these characters interact and see what happens.
Jokes or honesty?
Well, both. But yeah, so. And I will say, it is great after the whole thing ends, after the families get into a fight. Now, Homer and Peter agree they can just be friends as long as they just stay a half an hour apart with a lot of shit in between.
Fair enough. And I'll let Marcus know.
Yes, overall, great episode. I recommend it for fans of either show. Check it out.
Cool. I was just typing to Marcus because I know he took his headset off because he wants to see that. He didn't want spoilers.
He's not paying attention.
Oh no, he's talking to you.
All right.
Also, Pew Pew is experiencing difficulty where she couldn't hear everyone. That's why she's not on video now, just for people to be aware. But she came back to us. Yay.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, cool.
Welcome back.
But I don't mean it. No, I'm kidding. I can't reach it at the moment.
But yeah, for those viewing at home, the reason I took my headset off is because I'm about to watch that crossover.
Yeah, I explained so you didn't get spoilers.
Yep, that's fair.
Say 3 minutes.
Ah.
I did. So is that it from Jim?
That was it from Jim.
That was about all for me. I don't think I really did anything else all that relevant this week. I watched some premieres, and I read the books, and I did the comics, and that's about it as far as I can remember.
Cool. All right. Well, then I would like to thank those at home for joining us and listening into our musings and ramblings for the week. For James Phoenix, Chris DeMole, and our special guest this week, Anastasia Laserbeam, I was your host, Marcus Shadow. Join us again next week when we kick off our month of awards with James Phoenix. Till then, good night, everyone.
Good night.